So the King David Hotel bombing is really critical. It's an act of terrorism, open act, a dedicated act of terrorism. And that was the purpose all along. That was the intent all along. And it worked. It worked. The British didn't have, that much interest in the area to stay there and risk more bombings and more terrorism and spending more money there. So they got out. And then, 2 years later, you have the creation of the state of Israel. Looking way ahead now, kind of fast forwarding significantly, what we've seen in the last, 20 months is this media narrative about terrorism, which generally focuses on Hamas. And October 7th is seen as like day one, right? You know how they call the atomic bombing day one. Well, that's kind of how this particular crisis now is being kind of, sold, right? This is day one. This is when it all began. Well, this, anybody who studied this knows that's preposterous. But with regard to kind of the idea that terrorism is a fully operational idea, and what Israel does, what Israel has always done, what it did before it was even Israel, is really critical there. And so, again, not that we really need the information, and not that anybody who is a hardcore Zionist is going to accept any kind of countervailing evidence anyway, but it's very clear that we now have, mountains of evidence that these terrorist activities, have been going on for about 8 decades. The King David Hotel bombing preceded the Nakba by a little bit, right? And it led into what we now see is this really in most ways uninterrupted attack on Palestinians all over Palestine and Gaza and the West Bank, and it also spreads out into Lebanon and Iran and Syria. So Israel as a terrorist force, in this particular case, the Irgun, led by future Prime Minister Menachem Begin, bombed the King David Hotel, killed a significant group of British mandatory officials, British government officials, and it used that as a springboard to get statehood and to begin the eradication of Palestinian culture, Palestinian society, and Palestinian life. And so it's an important event.